Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Counter-Strike is back. My name is Dinko. I'm going to be joined by Hawker, and we're really looking forward to getting into this one. Finally, out of the player break, back in a DreamHack broadcast, and ready to get some Counter-Strike going. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm feeling fresh. We had some time off, but most importantly, Counter-Strike is back on the menu, and I couldn't be more excited.
No, definitely not. And this is a great game for us to get started with. Obviously, we had the matchups yesterday. We took a look at those, and they were awesome. Some really good games coming in. The question marks every time when you come out of a player break is how the team's going to be playing, because you've had a little break. The players obviously having a break, not going to be playing Counter-Strike. Not going to be as crisp or as practicing as much as they were before. But Complexity coming into the player break, we're on fire. They were beating everybody, winning a blast tournament. They looked incredible. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if they can keep that up coming into this tournament, because it's an important time for Complexity to see if they can continue their success.
Yeah, and as much as there's been discussions over which players are going to be rusty, which players are going to be taking some time to get back into it, someone you know who's going to be on point is Blamef, because this dude is a grinder. He's always 100% focused on Counter-Strike. He lives and breathes this game, and he's ready to get underway here into Overpass, the first map of the day.
Exactly. If he's not lifting heavy metal, he's hitting headshots. And while Complexity versus ForZe, you head into the pits round, Complexity going to be on that CT side. It's config with the kit and the smoke. Kevlar across the board, and USPs in play for everyone. ForZe sending some players over towards the B-bomb side here. Flit's going to try and get aggressive. Moving forward, it's Blamef that goes down early, and Flit, well, he'll fall to poison. Moving forward, has water control to play with, and a minute and 30 still left in the clock. Good fight coming in across the board.
Oh, and Rush has got this flanking connector. Extra Power finally spammed from behind. Not the cleanest of kills, but the push is coming into the B-bomb site. Jerry trying to use this smoke. Poison's still alive in water, though. That bomb's being planted, but look at Rush coming in from behind. Another kill found, almost the third, but it's Facecrack and Almaz who have to try to clutch.
Well, Poison trying to spam to the smoke. Mr. inside of the side, gets his head torn off. Poison is showing up in the pistol round, and that's what you want to see. The confidence immediately coming through from Complexity. They take the fight to ForZe. ForZe were trying to set up for the B-bomb site execute. They had the utility, but when Complexity get in their face, they just can't do anything about it. And I think that's the playstyle Complexity is just so good at.
Yeah, and this is a completely new look for Complexity as well. This Overpass, they haven't played this in the last 3 months. This was their permaban, so they've left it open here, and this might just be their playstyle. They might just go ahead and try and take fights, try and throw ForZe for a loop throughout this game. ForZe have gone for this second round Force Spy, though, so this round won't be too easy for Complexity. You've got some Deegs in there, some Tech 9s, some Mac 10s, all sorts of guns available, and a fair bit of utility for ForZe. So they've got options here in the second round.
Yeah, and touching back on that point as well, ForZe have always looked weak on this map. I've never really liked ForZe on Overpass. I think they look so inconsistent, one-dimensional at times. So if you have a team that feel a little bit uncomfortable on this map, and you're going to constantly push them and stop any of the playstyles or setups that they actually have, well, you're going to have a big issue if you're ForZe. You've got to try and adapt, and that's not going to be easy on the fly. Execute comes in, Complexity are in behind the smokes, a boost over the top. I love this from Blamef, fully blinded, gets the second kill onto Jerry, and that's 2 big kills that should deliver the round win.
Yeah, and Config went through those smokes as well. The aggressive play from him makes sure that the bomb plant's denied. ForZe now have the smoke fading. Nice shot from Extra Power, but it's not going to lead to anything. Flit's left in a 1v4, and you're already seeing some of those new ideas come through off the back of the player break. That little boost over the top right from the get-go. Complexity showing they've put some work in here. They've got themselves some cool things and some cool gimmicks on Overpass, ready for this game.
Yeah, I really like this look from Complexity early on. It's confident. It shows that they've got preparation on the map. So ForZe, they're going to have a tough time. They certainly are on this one. And that's going to be the Tech 9s, Deagles, P250s. 2k average in the bank here for ForZe. Not going to be getting too much. So looking into the next round is what we'll be hoping for. And Complexity, they have got the Galil in play on Obo, who was so fun to watch coming into the player break. He was really looking quite solid. Poison in the toilet, looking for the long-range fight against the power. And Facecrack, he's going to start walking up in towards long, a big headshot, and that opens things up for ForZe. They've got the man advantage, but for how long?
Oh, there might be a chance for a second. Poison caught in the open. Face cracks M4 comes into play, and Z-Power gets one of his own. The Deeds are wreaking havoc in this round. Obo is the last man left alive, and you were just talking about him, Dinko. I don't think he's winning a 1v5.
Well, this is just all crumbled. ForZe just one kill out and towards long, and it all just starts to spiral out of control. Now Obo moving his way back into the bomb site. You've got split around the corner. A little bit of damage coming in. That's a snappy headshot from Obo, and the time is ticking. Winning this round impossible. As the kit lies towards long, he needs to try and cross over into the open to grab that. He thinks it's just too much of a risk. He's going to back away, realizing his chances of winning this round are gone. And ForZe, around where they just had a couple of P250s, Alex, they have barely any investment, and they're about to walk away with just one casualty.
Oh, was the power dice to the bomb as well, but that's fine. They don't care. Just getting that round win is unreal. And I think that really comes down to the entry kill that FaceCrack got. He's someone who commits pretty hard to that entry fragging role for this team. And as soon as he gets that first kill, you see how uncomfortable Poison is there in the bathrooms. He has to try and turn around with the scout, take a really awkward fight. It just makes it so difficult for Complexity to hold. And now look at the response into this next round. The buy is looking much better for ForZe into this one. Complexity have still gone for the investment, but there's only 2 premium rifles to show for it.
We'll see if Complexity can pull this off. They can find themselves a round win off the back of 2 M4s, a Deagle, a CZ, and a Scout. That's going to be heartbreaking for ForZe. This is their opportunity to get off to a good start in the initial rounds here. They're going to be gathering their forces outside of the B bomb site, and ForZe are looking to try and finish it. They have got Obo alongside Rush inside of the site already. One of the rifles in play on the B-bomb site. Config gets the read. He's going back over as well. Throws the deep smoke in towards Monster. Flit doesn't care. He's not going to respect it. He goes right through Rush. He's going to be the first victim for the AK-47. Now it's Obo trying to hold on, but Amizu gets rid of him on the MP9. And that's the B-bomb site defense gone, wrapped up, and that should be the round for ForZe.
Yeah, well-timed push there through the smoke. They get past it. They can get out through Monster. As soon as you win those early fights, it's so much easier to win control of the B-bomb site. So ForZe coming in with a couple of nice early round wins. I think in general, ForZe are one of those teams who are a bit difficult to play against if you don't really get used to their play style to begin with. I think once you play them a couple of times, you can start to get somewhat of a read on them, but they can do some crazy things at times. They can do some really aggressive plays that can be uncomfortable for the opponents to deal with. And we saw that in the previous one with the Deagle round. It's led to Complexity having to save into this one, so into a 2-2 scoreline. Couple of guns saved on over for Complexity, though, and we'll get to see if they've got any of those nice boosts, any of those nice gimmicks for this round, because with only the 2 rifles, they're going to need to do something to come away with some success in this one.
I feel like ForZe are starting to really readapt, I feel, in terms of their map pool. They think they realized at a certain point they were riding the high of no one really knowing how to play against them in terms of that play style, the crazy Counter-Strike coming in from the CIS region. I think at a certain point, though, because people started to respect them, their map pool started to really become an issue. So it took a long time, but finally they're starting to work on some of the maps that were always traditionally weaknesses for them. I think Dust 2 and Overpass, probably those 2 maps that I would usually say are the weaknesses for them, at least in terms of the maps that they are willing to play. So it's exciting to see them try and come in here with an Overpass play and see how they shape up against the likes of Complexity. And well, ForZe, they have lost the early man due to the boost. The map's going to work out for that first kill. But can they get any more than this? Complexity still have the weaponry disadvantage. ForZe in a clear, advantageous position in terms of what they've got. And under a minute in play.
Rush gets the AK as well. That's so nice. He doesn't have Kevlar, but another gun available. I'm pretty sure we've seen Blame F be boosted in like 4 different spots already in this game. It's ridiculous, but he's getting set up and he's getting these kills, so it's working out so far. And ForZe continue to run down the clock. 40 seconds left. Some nades into the B-bomb site, but that flashbang forces them back, and Complexity still have so many players stacked on this B site.
Yeah, Rush just sitting in the water pit, ready for them to come forward. They've got Obo as well over here with a deagle. Well, Rush needs to go huge. He's got the first kill. Now it's Obo hiding back, and that's the deagle for one. The bomb is dropped in config. He's arrived as well. It's all falling apart, and ForZe, they just get dismantled. A lower tier buy from Complexity. They have the weapons tipped over. They make it work, and that's around ForZe. Cannot afford to lose. And I feel like that's the ForZe I'm used to here on Overpass. The tentative approach into the B bomb site. Very scared play, trying to figure out what's going on, waiting for Complexity to make a mistake. But when they don't give anything up, when they don't find that advantage back, ForZe don't know what to do.
Yeah, and ForZe never really took any map control over on the A side of the map in that round either. Blame F, by the way, getting aggressive. This is ballsy, but it's going to work for him. Opening kill found, and Blame F will back away happily.
Yeah, that's a big confident play from Blame F. Just walks forward, breaks the neck of Jerry. And while 4v5, immediately Complexity off to the good start. That's another great opening kill from Blame F. He's really taking matters into his own hands. And that's working out for Complexity. If you can consistently get an opening pick, you're going to be finding the majority of these rounds. And well, that is nice from FaceCrack. Poison just dances into the toilets, gets his head torn off his shoulders. And that's an immediate kill back in favor of ForZe. They desperately needed that trade kill. Oh, this could be good. FaceCrack around the corner. Config gets aggressive, catches him off. And a man advantage again in play for Complexity. The spacing from ForZe isn't really there. I mean, it's pretty awful right now. And Config, oh, did he spot? No, he didn't. He has no idea Flit's there. And Flit just takes him down. That's an easy kill for Flit. Now the push comes into the A bomb site. And it's working out so far. But Obo, it's a double kill. He just snaps two players, takes them down. And it's Power left alone into a 1 versus 3. With 30 seconds left on the clock. Power stuck in the bathrooms. Where can he go with this? He has to save the AWP. And ForZe, well, it's a round where they definitely had a chance in Alex. But I feel like they could have approached it much better.
Yeah, not fully coordinated there as they moved into the bathrooms. Power is actually going to go for this as he moves into the B bomb site. 10 seconds left on the clock. How is he going to clear out Rush's position, though? As soon as he fakes this plant, he's going to be dealt with. Rush nails the headshot. No chance at the end for Z-Power. And he's not been too involved so far in these early gun rounds. He's been the last man alive in a couple of these recent rounds. There was Blame F with the early aggression. Config landed some good shots into the bathrooms, but you see just how many 1v1 fights the CTs get here. No real nades against them. As you said, the coordination not 100% there for ForZe. And unfortunately, that means they're down to pistols in this one.
Yeah, and I mean, they had 2 full buys. They had a second chance there to try and break back, but it didn't work out for them. They looked completely lost. And Poison, he's going to get off to another good start, taking down Power, opening things up. And now we take a look at what ForZe can do here. It's nothing. It's going to be a 5th round for Complexity. And I think this is a real good start for Complexity onto this map. Yeah, it's looked a little bit shaky at times, but that's what you've got to expect coming out of the player break. You're not going to be expecting all the little mistakes to be perfect. That'll take time. But if the majority of things are working out, well, that's exactly what you need. In Complexity, another follow-up kill. Moving forward, FaceCrack alone. No trade potential for ForZe here. Just very disjointed, trying to figure out if they can get at least 1 kill. But it's not working out. Complexity playing it perfectly. It's going to be 5 players staying alive.
Yeah, good money builder for Complexity as well. They'll be very happy as long as they can all survive, which won't be happening. Jerry gets the AWP out of the hands of Poison, but he's closed in from both sides here. I don't see him getting away with it, and that AWP should be recovered any second now. So 5-2. Oh, just about getting the AWP. Last second, Blame F really had to get a move on, but he does save the AWP over. Money will be there for Complexity. Here comes another buy for ForZe, though, and I'd like to see Z-Power get a bit more involved and go for some of these early fights. Those last couple of rounds, he was the last man left alive. He was left in positions where he couldn't do anything. He's meant to be the star player for this squad, so I want to see if he can get them an opener.
Well, sprinting over towards B. This is something ForZe love to do. Is a lot of B attention. But again, another boost, another kill for Blame F. This is incredible. Obo following up over towards the B bomb site, and Rush is going to peek down in towards Monster. Power will fight back, but it's only 1 kill, and it's Jerry left alone into a 1 versus 4. How many times are Complexity going to get the initial round advantage off the back of Blame F being boosted?
It's not easy, man, to boost up either, Dinko.
No, exactly.
I could.
It's unfair. All the Complexity players' backs are probably broken right now.
Especially if it's Obo.
Definitely. Well, Jerry, once again, left in an unwinnable clutch. He's just got to try and save this AK, and look at the money for ForZe. It's completely gone. Nothing is looking good for this side right now. Complexity, it may have been a good start, but now it's excellent.
Yeah, they've really turned this up. And we're seeing the players individually playing to a good level on complexity, which was one of the things I think we were really hoping to see. Because I think the teams that have struggled most when coming back from the player break seem to be the teams that are just having some of their individuals a little bit quieter than you'd expect. Maybe just individually, they're not 100% locked in, but we've seen Config land shots. We've seen blameF be boosted up and just out-positioning his opponents. Poison's landed some kills as well. Obo's up there at the top right now. So just everyone is doing their bit for complexity. These gun rounds haven't really been close. And at least Jerry may get to save this all over. But obviously, he's not going to get any money for that. So the decision as to whether ForZe want to buy in this next round will be an interesting one here for them. They're 6-2 down. Jerry will save this off. The rest of the team will have some money, but it's definitely not a comfortable position for them.
No, it's not comfortable at all right now. And, well, there's another boost. You can't really do much about that if you're Flea. You're just kind of walking down the tunnel. I think you're going to get around the corner, maybe to think about the boost over towards water, but the booster connected that early on. It is ballsy, and it works out for complexity. Take a look at the scoreboard. Obo, 8-2 right now. 8-3 on config. 7 kills for blameF. I'd be interested to see how many of those are actually opening kills. And over here for ForZe, it's not really a good time for anyone.
I can tell you, Dinko, 4 of those are opening kills. That's impressive. Again, though, because blameF is that in-game leader who's their best fragger as well, he can do that. He can call for boost for himself. It's a really nice facet to have on this team, and it's working wonders so far. I think for ForZe, though, we need to see more of an ability for them to take that early map control. Like you were saying, just take that bathrooms control together, use some of those early nades, try and force the CTs back a bit, because so far, those fast plays haven't really been working for them. But in this round, it is mainly just the AWP of Z Power, and I say only the AWP. He's got the opening kill, so maybe there's something to be said for this round.
Tech 9s. They used to be the gun you would go to, Alex. So many rounds, one off the back of this pistol. Well, there we go. That's lovely, but the kill not through. Poison somehow staying alive. He goes forward. If he gets a kill here, that's going to be heartbreaking for ForZe, but it won't happen. Jerry just takes his head right off his shoulders. Now he's got a 2-man advantage. Config, you don't see him often with those. And Fistcrack just tears his head right off. It's Rush and Obo left alone, and this round cannot be won. It's ForZe walking away with it, just pistols. Jerry popping off, Fistcrack finding success, and it works out. The Russians will walk away with a 3rd round on the board.
Yeah, and that's more of what I wanted to see earlier from Z-Power. I wanted to see him be able to get involved in some of those early fights. As soon as they only have the AWP to work with, they have to rely on the sniper. He's able to win some of those early kills. He's able to open up the round to allow ForZe to get up close. And it all goes really well for them. So hopefully ForZe can take note of that. Hopefully they can continue to try and set up Z-Power for some of these early kills, because he is definitely someone who can win you rounds just by getting kills like that. And you see ForZe upping the pace as soon as they get that first frag. They rush onto the A-bomb site and they get themselves their 3rd round win. So signs of life from ForZe. I think that was a much needed round for them because they were losing convincingly the last 4 or 5 rounds. So getting one back hopefully puts them back in a positive mindset.
Yeah, that's definitely not a consistent thing, though. You can't. That's just not reliable. It's not sustainable in any way. So it's an opportunity they've given themselves now after winning that to turn this into round wins. They can't afford to lose this gun round. They need to pick this up if they want to start pulling this scoreline back. And it's a quicker play into the B-bomb side. Flit and Fistcrack moving through quickly. Poison. He's aggressive in towards short, and it's going to work out for him. He gets the first kill, and there's no trade potential again from ForZe. I don't really know how I feel about these fast B hits. It feels like they haven't worked at all. They haven't even really got close. Complexity's utility usage is on point. It severs the attack completely, and Poison just picking them apart one by one, and ForZe again in a real difficult scenario.
Yeah, that was another round where Complexity seemed to just have a very good read in the early round as well, because they had 4 players towards the B site, as well as blameF in connector. They were so heavily focused on that B site early. Not a bad nade onto Z-Power. Takes him down to 62 health. Spam wars continue through the wood, but neither side really landing any damage. ForZe not putting too much pressure across the map, though. They're just kind of holding back, again, waiting to see if they can get a kill, waiting out these nades. But that clock is ticking. 44 seconds left for them, and it looks like the B play is being prepared.
Pushing towards B. Hasn't really worked out until this point, and now they move forward. It's the smoke down onto the Molotov. FizzCrack having to hide behind it, and that gives away that they're both there now at this point. They move forward. They're going to try the boost, and they're trying everything, and it's not going to work out for them. Config just takes Jerry's head right off, and it's FizzCrack, the last remaining player, into the 1 versus 4. 15 seconds now left on this clock. It's unwinnable. He actually wants to die before the time here. He has got 4K in the bank, but they need a little bit of extra cash, and there's the kill. Obo gets rid of FizzCrack. It's the 7th round for Complexity, and that's always the problem I have with ForZe. They seem so one-dimensional on this map. They win off the back of pistols. It gives them an opportunity to potentially win another round, but what do? They go right back into the standard B hit, and it hasn't worked for them, Alex.
Yeah, I think they've definitely got to show us something else now. Complexity's money still looking pretty strong, but ForZe have a couple of weaknesses into this round. Galil comes out for Flip, a couple of nades missing as well. This orb battle hasn't been too much of a factor so far. Normally, Z-Power hasn't been able to take this fight, but Poison decides to back away. Looks like we are going to see ForZe going for this early bathrooms control, this early mid presence. This is what I want to see them doing. Even if they want to end up on the B site, I think it's worthwhile just testing the waters over at A, because in quite a few rounds, Complexity have only had one man on A, or they've had players playing all the way back from the site. So if you can try and force Complexity back, you can maybe then start to play with those rotations. Seen a lot of boosts today. Overpass is always good for these. Z-Power not spotting anyone at long, so ForZe will go ahead and take that control. And this time, Complexity might be a bit more confused. They might be a bit more lost because ForZe are starting to take map control on this A side of things. So this is where ForZe can try and sell those rotations down between the sites and maybe try and draw some rotates from the CTs. But Flame F, playing off the back of this smoke, might have a chance to do something here.
See if he can work it out. Poison has taken down some power, and well, comes down to the patience game with Blame F inside of the smoke. FizzCrack down to whether or not he spots him first, and he will. FizzCrack with the kill a second as well as he catches Poison's head, and he nearly gets a 3rd kill. The information's there and passed on to Almeza, who can reply with a trade kill, and this is much better spacing from ForZe. They're actually able to trade off of each other, and that's something that hasn't really been there for ForZe this entire map, right? They've been completely disjointed. It's been one player going in at a time, but FizzCrack, this is huge. 2 big kills. He gets the information for Almeza, who's able to trade back, and Jerry seals the deal towards the end of the round. That's a much better round from ForZe. That's what I want to see from them.
Yeah, and I was saying earlier how FizzCrack kind of commits pretty hard to that entry role when it works out for him there, and he has been landing shots throughout this game. So I think if they can set FizzCrack up with some players behind him, ForZe have got ways to win these rounds, and we're starting to see that come through now. Blameath again being a nuisance up close, but this time Jerry's ready for him. Poison firing back, misses the shot, and Z-Power takes him down. So ForZe good on the early trades over at A, and now Complexity have to respond.
How are they going to go about this, though? Trying to find a way back into it is not going to be easy. Config, though, he did have the weakness in terms of just having the Deagle, but now he's gone up, and Rush has just shut down FizzCrack going in on his own. He was the expendable player, the player that could go on forward and try and catch out some information, potentially a kill, but doesn't work out, and now Rush getting aggressive again. Oh my god, that's quick from Power. He gets the kill on towards Rush, and now he sits back in the middle. Config gets tagged up. How has he hit this? How is Power actually this inhuman in terms of his reactions? There's a good kill. Power gets another, and it's Obo left alone. A 1 versus 3 with the M4A4. He'll try and go back into the bomb site. The smoke starts stopping him from seeing what's going on, and Flit will tear him to shreds. A 5th round picked up for ForZe, and Power is here to play. He was a little bit quiet towards the start, Alex. He wasn't getting as much impact as we hoped he would, but this is much better. This shot, that's sick. Yeah, and this is the ForZe we were expecting to see, and this is why we were somewhat critical of ForZe earlier, because we know they can play to this level, right? This is what we love to see from them. A bit more team play comes through. They win those early trades at long, and then Z-Power lands some great shots. Good stuff from ForZe, and they force Complexity back down to a low buy. So finally, ForZe getting some control on the economy, getting a grasp on the economy side of the game.
Shouldn't be too many chances here for Complexity with just a few pistols into this round. Deep smoke going down into Monster, but that's the last piece of utility that Complexity have in this one. So ForZe should be able to play it slow and figure things out in this round. As it stands, though, Complexity more focused on this B side of the map. A couple of players stacked around Monster. These close angles can be pretty difficult to deal with as well. If you push into the B site like this, with 3 players up close, this is a cheeky setup for Complexity that could actually be somewhat difficult to deal with.
The push going forward, Rush. Oh, this is going to be huge if he can distract, but he can't do it effectively. I mean, there's always the potential there for that to be huge, but the trap was laid. It doesn't really work out for them. And Complexity, 7-6. Round advantage, but ForZe, they have done very well to get back into things. They were getting dominated. You mentioned a couple of rounds ago, they weren't even close. The round wins were not close at all. Complexity were getting that opening kill and just shutting it all down. ForZe looked completely lost, but they figured it out. They've got into the first half here, and it's not too late. They could actually walk away with the lead.
Definitely a possibility.
Oh.
Poison needs to be careful when he's not ready for Jerry. He was the only man on this A side of the map. Complexity have had these rounds where they've stacked heavily on the B side of things, but this time Poison gets caught on A, and that's going to leave them somewhat vulnerable now. You've got to wonder how long Complexity are willing to stick to this 4-man B stack, but it looks like they are sticking to it, and this could work for them. The lineup almost there. Rush comes out wide, and it's back to a 3v3.
1 minute and 13 seconds in play at this point. As the Parent's going to be all the way back, trying to fall back and pick up that bomb. This round, still anybody's to play with. They've still got a full minute in play. BlimmF, a boost again, this time up on top of the sandbags, looking over the top of the smoke. He's not going to see anybody in water, but the lack of information is actually information in itself. But ForZe are going to go back. They're going to send Almirza back into the water, and this might just be the lion's den, and you don't really survive if you go in there. BlimmF looking to tear him apart. Almirza's going to be walking into the rifle, waiting on the sandbag. It was nearly awful for BlimmF. His crosshair came off just at the wrong time, but he reacts quick enough to shut down Almirza, and it's a man advantage in play for Complexity with 25 seconds left. ForZe walking contact via the monster tunnel. Complexity still guessing, still not fully sure as to what is going on this B-bomb site. BlimmF's going to get another boost over the top, and he's going to spray away. Damage done into power, but not the kill. And Jerry's going to line them up, a big double, and now they've got a real chance to win this as Config into the 1 versus 2. He's picked up the first kill, and now just one more. One more player, and it's the power who gets the frag. Somehow ForZe walk away with the round win, and that's all thanks to the big spray down from Jerry. That is absolutely huge.
Yeah, remember, he opened up the round over on the A side as well, and then this lineup comes through on both of the players rotating. Z-Power then gets set up for a much better chance to try and win a clutch. Much better opportunity than those 1v3s earlier. He wins out the 1v1, and into the last round of the half, Complexity have almost nothing to work with. SMGs across the board, a couple of UMPs in there, interestingly enough. Most people generally tend to favor this MP9, which is what Rush and Obo have in their hands, and then a scout for Poison. So this is another round where Complexity probably have to do something a little bit saucy, a little bit special to try and win this one. Right now, though, we're just seeing if Poison can land an early shot. But smoke goes down. That should force Poison to play a little safer.
Ooh, nice shot. Good initial damage. Not so nice of a nade. That's one for the Twitch chat. And what? Good bit of damage done onto FizzCrack already. Like you said, this has to be an unbelievable turnaround from Complexity if they want to get an 8th round of this half. ForZe have clawed their way back in. It hasn't been the most convincing or the cleanest of Counter-Strike throughout this first half, but it's what you've got to expect coming out of the player break. Overall, it's been exciting. The individuals are certainly showing up. And while Poison is going to walk forward, it's Obo with 1 kill on the MP9, but it's the power and FizzCrack who step back with kills for ForZe, and now the hold trying to come through. The young gun, Obo, spraying away, gets 2 kills, and Obo is going to try and hold on as he moves forward. A big flank not working out here. BlimmF, oh, we needed the kills. The damage has all been done, but it's ForZe who get 8 rounds at the half. It's time for a short break, but we'll be right back to see if Complexity can fight back, or will ForZe close it out here on Overpass. The Juggernauts are behind here on Overpass. ForZe in the lead by 1. It wasn't the cleanest half of Counter-Strike for ForZe, but they make it work in a couple of rounds that probably shouldn't have gone their way. Complexity looking to fight back on the T side, but ForZe have set themselves up for success. 5 sets of Kevlar as they head 3 players down into the connector.
Yeah, meanwhile, Complexity is starting to sneak into mid, and this could be very uncomfortable for ForZe here. G-Pow's about to spot them. Great shot onto the first man, but how much longer can he fight this angle? Well, he gets the second kill. Z-Pow are looking for more. They finally run him down, but it's into the stack. It's a complete bait into the connector, and ForZe just completely annihilate Complexity. That bait and switch was so cheeky. Complexity had no clue what was about to hit them.
That was just huge from Power. This is exactly what he can do into these USP pistol rounds. His aim is so crisp. It's the point-and-click play style that every AWPer is so good at. And Power, he's better than most. That's huge from him. 9-7, 4 is a clean pistol. Not really expecting how many players were really going to be in that one position. And 4 is putting themselves in a real good position here on Overpass now. And the troubles for Complexity when it comes to playing against ForZe might just continue here, Alex.
Yeah, we heard Rush say in that interview earlier. He was saying that he was having some troubles. The few times they had played against ForZe, they actually ended up losing them. So it's clearly a matchup that's been rough. What is that, Poison? You can't do that.
That is just nuts. I really don't know how Flit doesn't get the kill, but Poison, he's given a millisecond to react to the Flit not really being as clean on the spray, and he is going to take that.
He didn't even have armor.
No, just straight to the head. Well, Obo walking forward. You've got Zaparo in the corner. The MP9 might just rattle away here, but 2 players, that's going to be a big issue, especially with the position of Rush. It was always difficult to take him down. He had the cover of the wall, so the MP9 had to focus on that one angle and couldn't react quick enough to shut down Obo. So 2 players there inside the connector, just a little too much to handle for the MP9, and it's going to go down. 40 seconds now on play. Still plenty of time, but Complexity, they've got a 2-man advantage. You have to remember they did win a round like this in the first half. Both teams did, but ForZe would love to try and avoid this. They have a perfect opportunity now. They come into the second half with the lead. They find a pistol win. To lose the second round ForZe by, that would be heartbreaking.
A's clear. Oh, they rotated away from A at just the wrong moment. Jerry was here with the rifle, but I don't think ForZe can win this now. They've lost the A site. Yeah, they've realized the save has to be the call here. Complexity's early kills are enough for them. Man, that's a shame for ForZe because they were going on a bit of a streak there. That was their 6th round win in a row if you count the end of the first half as well. But Complexity just come away with a couple of early kills, and that's all they need to get this one over the line. There is still a bit of money in Z-Power's back pocket, though, so if they save some of these guns, they can maybe get a somewhat reasonable buy going into the next one. And the other upside is Complexity aren't exactly able to save many good guns here. They've only got the FAMAS really for Config and the Scout for Poison. The other players are only saving Beagles. So that could impact the economy game as well, but most importantly, Complexity bring it back to within 1 on the scoreline.
Oh, Fistcrack trying to get a little bit of extra cash. He does get 1 kill onto Rush. But overall, this is the start. Oh, that is just ridiculous. Obviously, it's very difficult to hit that for Flit because he's moving from one level to the next. He's jumping up onto the bench. So he has to try and transition his crosshair. And that millisecond of opportunity given to Poison, he's able to react fast enough and hit the headshot with a Scout. And like you said, no Kevlar. That makes things even more impressive.
Still both teams buying up into this round, but Poison gets the better of Z-Power early. Trades into B short as well, but BlameF is able to take revenge for his teammate's death, and that means Complexity hold the man advantage after the early trades. Bit of damage done to Jerry as well, and ForZe are in a somewhat similar position to the previous round, down into a 3v4 early, and this just makes it so uncomfortable across the map now, right? You can't really have a confident hold on one of the bomb sites, because one of the sites is going to have just a single player there. Right now, it's the A site where Flit is the only player in contention. He only has an MP9 as well, so he can't even take the long-range fights. It's just a very awkward position for ForZe to be in, and because of that, Complexity are happy to just sit back and see if ForZe go for any aggression. Oh, another stack as well in this 3v4 scenario. ForZe aren't comfortable trying to hold both bomb sites, so they're looking to get the right read, stacking into those bathrooms. ForZe's got to be careful. He has the bomb right now, but that tag lands. Flip might be moving through this smoke, though. If he can get the timing right, he could be the pain in their backside that makes the difference.
Well, walking over towards B, it's Flick coming in from behind. He's got the MP9 as he moves forward to spray away. He's going to get one as Elbow goes down. Flick with another kill, and it's Config. He's able to find success, and now he sprays away.
Bomb has been planted.
Just FaZeCrack and Jerry now left alone, and there's no way you could retake this. Maybe a 2v3 is possible if you have 100 HP, a little bit more utility available to you, but you don't have any of those luxuries. And so Complexity going to tie things up. 9-9. That's fantastic stuff from Complexity. Now, they can take the lead going into this next one, Alex.
Definitely a good chance for them to do so. FaZeCrack got a kill at the end of the last round. He might look for one at the end here. Ooh, as soon as those shots land, I think FaZeCrack decides against it. Flashbang not going to help him too much either. So all the guns saved over on the Complexity side of things. And as for ForZe, it probably has to be a low buy for them. You can see on the right side of your screen, it's a $2,400 loss bonus for ForZe. So, ooh, they could maybe save and buy, but a bit of investment comes in from Almaza. That doesn't leave them with the best of money in the bank on some of their players. It's not going to be a great scenario for ForZe, whereas you can see Complexity already with loads of money to work with. A full buy for them in this round, and BlameF not wasting any time, already getting that opening kill.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this from ForZe. I think that's just going to hurt them a little bit more into the future, needlessly as well. And this Kevlar, it's probably not going to be too impactful.
Yeah, it probably won't win you the round, right?
Yeah, especially because he's buying the helmet as well. So he's spending the full $1,000 on it. So yeah, that's a little strange to me. But nonetheless, an opening kill coming in for Complexity. It's going to be pulled back. It's going to be Almaza. Now he can maybe make us look like liars, Alex. Now that would be impressive. I want Obo in towards Connector. 1 minute and 4 seconds left on the clock, and Complexity trying to figure out which way they want to go with this. And it's over towards A. Through A long, clearing all the close corners of the toilets around the corner on long. There's no one here, no one close by. They can just keep walking forward. And with 50 seconds, still plenty of time. ForZe realize, okay, we need to rotate players back up to this A site. Been caught out by this before, and now moving forward, it's Complexity with the utility. The flashes coming into the bomb site. Config moving forward, burns away Almaza, gets the follow-up kill as well. And Config just cutting through 3. It's a huge, huge play from him. And ForZe's chances gone in terms of even doing damage in this round now. So 10-9, Complexity into the lead.
That's the Config we know and love. He's had a real resurgence on this Complexity squad, finally getting back to that level we know he can play at. His aim, when he's on his game, is very difficult to deal with. Cuts him down on the A site, wins his team the round. And Z-Power is just focused on saving the AK at this point, and that's pretty important. As we said earlier, Almaza's money really isn't great. I think Config's pretending to nade his teammate. The only thing that could happen here with this nade is he could accidentally nade himself. I don't know why he's done that. But there we go. Oh, and he's dead to the mob. What is going on, Dinko?
I don't really know, Alex. Some things are better left unanswered. That's probably the best approach to this, but well play from Config. Very well, Almaza finding the follow-up, cleaning up Flit. He was just so aware of all the positions. And then, you know, goes out with a bang. Quite literally.
I think he was trying to drop the nade in the bin. I don't know why he was trying to do that, but I think that's just what he was going.
Config things. And what, 15-9 on Obo. I mean, I feel like that's been actually quite quiet. He's been quietly chipping away and getting those kills. I mean, Config obviously making the flashy play in the last round, but it's against the pistols. Obo has been incredible, just the rock that they need. He's had big holds on the CT side, impressive multi-kills across the board. 15-9, incredible performance from him. His playstyle is really maturing as the tournaments go on, the time with his team goes on. And it's very exciting to watch this young player. And well, 10-9, as ForZe having the utility. Not a whole lot of it.
And it's not perfect, but at least they've got the full guns out on the ForZe side of things. Oh, this nade stack.
Oh,
hello.
okay.
This is going to be spicy. Oh, there it is. 2 kills with the nades. It's an absolute bombardment onto the B site. That is not what ForZe needed. They saved to get these guns into this round, and then that's the start to the round they get. That sucks.
That's huge. That's just an artillery fire right into Jerry and Almirza. You finally get all the... it was the worst part was that was where most of the utility was as well for the CT side. It was on Almirza, and now it's all gone. It's just been absolutely ripped apart. If you're ForZe, you just kind of want to quit at this point. This round's done. It should be done. If Complexity play their cards correctly, this round should be an 11th for Complexity, absolutely no problem. And look at the money for ForZe. It's gone. If they lose this round and every weapon, they're going to be struggling for the next couple again, and that's where Complexity really start to ramp up the round wins. FaceCrack positioning himself outside of the door at the connector. He hasn't spotted anything, I don't think. And still, Complexity managed to cross over to the B bomb site. All 5 players just walking through the monster tunnels. The power rotating back over towards A. FaceCrack still hasn't seen anything. And now he hears the utility being used, but it's too late. He's locked out of the bomb site, and ForZe can't do anything.
Yeah, I think this probably has to be a save. ForZe is sticking around, but, well, it's definitely a save now. Z-Power's been dealt with. The boost comes in. Flip falls. And FaceCrack is in a 1v5 behind the smoke. Oh, he can't even get out. It's the Glock of Obo that finishes the job. I love that nade stack, though.
Yeah, that's just a brilliant round from Complexity from start to finish, but a terrible one from ForZe. I feel like as soon as they lose that B bomb site, as soon as they know, okay, FaceCrack's locked off towards short, we're 5 versus 3, they've just walked contact into the B bomb site. Why are you sticking around? You have no money left in the bank at all. You need to save the weapons you've got. You've got an AK and M4 and all. Get that into the next round. Don't throw it away.
Yeah, and there's no argument to be made for damaging Complexity's money, really, because look at Complexity's money. It's great, and ForZe really needed to focus on their own economy, and, well, it's not going to come through for them here. Wow! FaceCrack in the flames somehow lands that shot. That's an AK recovered for his teammates. The composure there to land that shot in the flames was incredible, because he knows if he misses, he's dead to the molly, but he just gets the shot, he gets away with his life. We need to see more of that from ForZe, though. Even though they've got that 1 AK recovered, it's still mostly pistols for them.
What's the power? Oh my god. You can't see config from his perspective. That's just one of those scenarios where you get CS gold. 1 minute and 4 seconds left. Jerry around the corner. They move forward in towards long and poison. Scoped in. Honed in. Towards the long position as config moves through, and there's the lineup. 2 kills, takes down his teammate, and FaceCrack in one swift blow. But it's Jerry who lines them up at the end. It all falls apart for Complexity. Nightmare scenario in towards a long. Poison taking down his teammate, and it all crumbles for the Juggernaut side. If you can see this replay in terms of that initial kill, but it's all about the long play you want to see here. Jerry just lining them up. That's just very unfortunate for Complexity.
Yeah, you've got to take that shot, right, if you're Poison. You've got to just get the guaranteed kill, even if it takes down your teammate. But the real worry there for Complexity was that they didn't realize how many players would be stacked. Oh, no. Rush goes through the flames. The smoke somehow doesn't help him. Both players blind. What is going on right now? Rush is somehow still alive. This game has had some weird situations. But you know what? We'll pretend we didn't see that. We'll pretend it's just a normal game of Counter-Strike, and we'll continue.
Crazy stuff across the board, certainly entertaining. Well, ForZe has the initial kill. Power picking it up. Now, I feel like Power's play style on the team has changed a little bit from when we first started to see ForZe take the scene. Back in Copenhagen games of, I believe it was 2019, that's when ForZe started to really start winning stuff and really start to compete in tournaments. I think Power had a very heavy emphasis on being the star opera for that team, getting a lot of opening kills all of the time. I feel like the team has matured a little bit in terms of their play style, realizing the way they were playing then isn't exactly going to work against everyone. But now, this is working for Complexity, as Poison is going to shut down Power. That op battle in towards a long, not working out. The defensive opera, and now they move forward. Rush the front man. He's going to get taken down from Flip, but he's in a one and done. The Molotov's going to prevent the fallback, so he moves forward instead. And while Poison shutting down Jerry, nearly had a flashback to when he took his teammate down in the previous round. But it's Almirza left alone now into a 1 versus 2. It's a winnable clutch. It's just going to be very difficult with no utility and no kit.
Yeah, those are the big issues. And oh, the flashbang comes in, but he's able to sneak on up. Poison's not ready for this angle. Spray successful onto the first man. BlameF still has loads of nades, though. He's got a molly for the bomb, which could buy so much time. And here it comes. Now Almeza has to close the distance, has to go for this kill. And BlameF is still surviving. Spots him out. And Almeza now is in trouble. He's got the kit in his hands, which helps him somewhat. BlameF going to go for this peek again, and BlameF gets the kill he was looking for, going down low in the process, but he plays the clutch well, he buys enough time, he wins that final fight, and Complexity edge out another round.
Yeah, I think edge out is obviously the applicable term in this scenario. It wasn't the cleanest, but it's still the round win for Complexity, and now they are 4 away from victory. ForZe coming into this round, they'll invest on Power. Now, this is something this ForZe team do quite often. If you're newer to Counter-Strike, you're probably looking at this and thinking this doesn't make sense. I mean, this is a buy that ForZe will go for. They know that Power has so much ability on the AWP that if he just has a couple of pistols around him, he can sometimes get you a round win. So they're willing to go for that risk. Not working out just yet. He's taking so much damage on board, down to 29 HP. And now he wants to take the fight and the connect to it.
Yeah, we saw one of those rounds back on the T side where Z-Power just had the AWP and they did end up winning it. So we've seen it in this very game. We know it's a possibility. We'll see if it's going to happen for him, though, as he is still low on health. This timing might be right. This was the play he made on the pistol round, and it pays off for him again. Poison finally dealt with. Now Z-Power is trapped in connector, though, and Complexity should be aware of that. The Molotov going down, Obo separated the two players, and that is well worked by Obo. He almost goes down, but this nade could be good. Z-Power takes 1 damage from it. Never mind.
Of course. Of course. Fixed, by the way. And what? Power's going to walk up towards top connector. 40 seconds in play. And Obo coming around the corner. It's Power that goes down. And that's the AWP gone. The big green gun. Out of play here for ForZe, and Complexity with the man advantage, have the A bomb site. Jerry, does he swing? Does he try and take the fight? He nearly gets the opportunity, but Config eclipses his teammate and protects him, keeping him alive, shutting down Jerry. And Almeza and FaceCrack left alone into a 2 versus 4. It's all about just doing a little bit of damage on the potential exits here, but that's not even going to be happening. Config getting rid of FaceCrack, and we look at a 13th round for Complexity. 3 away from victory on Overpass.
And if you have just joined us, you can see there under the mini-map, this is the map pick of ForZe. It's not a map they pick too often, but part of the reason why they went for it is because Complexity have no official games on record on this map in the last 3 months. Obviously, though, they've clearly put some work in that off time. Almeza here at the end, just saving that AK so that they can have a bit of a better buy into the next. But yeah, this is what is really cool about coming off of a big break, Dinko, is we get to see maybe some teams expanding their map pool, maybe some teams coming up with some new stuff. You know that BlameF's the kind of guy who's going to be trying to make his team do all sorts of things. And Overpass might be a feature of Complexity's map pool in the future. It's looking solid for them right now with a 3-round lead.
Yeah, I feel like BlameF's the kind of guy that doesn't really know the meaning of break. I think he's just a workaholic. He just keeps working over and over.
He can't get burnt out.
Yeah, he just
that was the quote.
He is a beast, and well, that's good for Complexity. I mean, if you have an in-game leader with that work ethic, I mean, that's everybody's dream. And well, 13-10, Complexity here on Overpass looking very solid. And I can definitely see why Complexity would want to still keep the focus up. I mean, you've come in to the player break and you've got yourself a situation where you're winning big tournaments, you're beating everybody, you're playing so well online, which is actually something Complexity have struggled with. If you remember back to the start of this year, they were struggling to get to the minor qualifiers, and they were crumbling against teams you've never even heard of. So the fact that Complexity have been able to turn this around just shows how good this team are working hard. And Flit, he's going to find himself one. He's going to go down to Obo's nid, though, and that's a reply. A 4 versus 4.
Yeah, Complexity will be happy with that early trade. And you see, they put a bit of pressure on that A side of the map. They try and give ForZe something to think about. They try and force ForZe back a bit, and then they can move back towards B, where there's only one man on the site itself right now. FaceCrack solo holding the bomb site, but Almaz has just spotted one man at Monster. That gives the information, but FaceCrack has to be careful. Push coming in towards his position, and he's unable to get the kill. Now Almaz has got to try and do something. He's got to try and make the difference here, and the timing's right. He strikes from behind, almost a chance for a second, but it's turned into a 2v2.
Well, moving forward, 14 seconds left on the clock. Obo putting the bomb down in the site. That's the power, and Jerry staying back now. Obo looking for the spray away. It's going to do a good bit of damage. Looks for the second kill as well. It's the power drop to 32. The smoke goes down into the left side. Obo looking for the lineup. He's got one, and Jerry going down. Now it's the power. The bomb not exactly in a good position for him. He's got to walk all the way into the site, and he's got a crossfire to deal with. Especially with an ult, this becomes very difficult. Oh, nearly fast enough. But not finding that kill gets rid of all of his chances of winning this round. It's going to be 14 on the board for Complexity, 2 away from victory, and BlimmF. Okay, this spray through the wood, catching out the power on the exit. He doesn't even save the AWP. That's the nightmare scenario for ForZe.
Yeah, that might be the dagger right there for Overpass, because ForZe's money won't be great. Really well worked by Ovo, planting on that other side of the site, knowing that the players were likely on short, knowing that that was the safer bet. Made sure he could get that bomb down, and you can see ForZe taking a tactical timeout ahead of this one because they know they are in some trouble. You can see throughout this CT side, just 2 rounds won for them. Remember, they won that pistol, but then they lost that follow-up round, which is what has put them in this hole to begin with. And then the gun rounds just haven't been too convincing from them. So something has to change. And it's got to change fast. Otherwise, Complexity may be picking up this first map. And then Complexity went for that Mirage pick, which is a map they play all the time. They don't have the highest win rate on it, but they play it so often against almost everyone that that's kind of to be expected. So that's a map Complexity will certainly be comfortable on. But here, ForZe actually go for a half investment, Dinko. They're willing to maybe even play for overtime here, unless they can do something with the pistols.
Cool. Well, BlimmF just cutting through them, a huge start, ripping them apart. Flits the power and fist crack, a 3 versus 5, a 2-man advantage in play for Complexity. Taken into the hands of BlimmF. He's been involved in so many opening duels. I think going into the second half, he was involved in 7. So within 1 half, that's pretty huge. A lot of them coming off the back of boosts as well. As an in-game leader, he's very confident in his own abilities. He'll set himself up for success, and now Rush. This is the perfect play for him. Surely he'll find 1, and he will get at least 1 kill. Probably would have liked 2. He does go down to the Deagle of face crack, but it doesn't really matter. The rest of the squad still kicking. Obo with his 25th kill. It's been unbelievable. And now the lineup from Zapower. He's found an AK. Oh no, that could have been real dirty. When he doesn't get the 3rd on the Deagle, he does go down in the end. It's 15-10, Complexity, map points here on their opponent's map pick. Just a reminder, if you are just tuning in, as indicated by the top right graphic, ForZe have picked Overpass. Moving on to the next map, that's going to be Mirage. And traditionally, if you remember even back to the heroic days, that's a map BlimmF has been a beast on. And now he's got a team full of individuals. So this is a scary time for ForZe. They really need to put up a good fight here on Overpass. And I think their overpass problems do continue here.
Yeah, unless they can turn it around, starting with this one. Z-Power gets that kill in the open. He goes forward. Oh, how is he still alive? He took that shot, but he just took it on the chin, apparently. He's only down to 61 health. It must have been a shot through the bench, which didn't connect fully. So Z-Power, very lucky to be alive right now, but he's given his team the man advantage. That's the start that they needed, and Z-Power sticking around to see if there's anything else. But Complexity are rotating back towards this B site, and this B site's been pretty good for Complexity so far. Only 2 CTs here right now. Second smoke goes down. Flash is lining up to go through this. Great flashbang, great opener, but Almas sprays down 2. And now it's just BlimmF and Obo to try and save this round, and I don't think that's going to be happening. BlimmF's been good so far, but a 1v4 to close out the game, it's not likely, but maybe he's got a chance. Let's see.
Well, he has been playing really well. 44 seconds, though, and ForZe not giving anything up. They realize what this man can do. So they sit back. They give him the respect. At this point, it's all about getting the round wins. 15-11. I mean, it's not impossible to come back into to pull it back to overtime. You just have to play the percentage counter-strike. BlimmF gets rid of Almirza. He walked forward for a second kill, but Jerry is there for the swing. Gets the reply. Good bit of damage being done for BlimmF there, but in the end, the round still goes in favor of the Russians. And Complexity, they're going to be down to a half buy And well, BlameF actually has enough money to probably drop enough to get a goodbye across the board, actually. I didn't quite notice he has so much in the bank, but that's huge. Look at this. He's dishing out ults to poison. He's got deagles available, another AK on the floor. Somehow, BlameF does everything.
$10,000 spent there by BlameF to get his team the buy. Poison has been burnt down to half health, though. Not the start he was looking for. Z-Power, in the meantime, taking up this angle in connector. Obo might be about to round that corner. Bit of damage done by BlameF elsewhere. Looks like we won't get too many of these early fights. Flit, though, investigating through connector. These are the plays that ForZe make sometimes that can be really awkward to deal with. They are willing to go for this sort of aggression, but it looks like Flit made a bit of noise. So I think now he's realized he's got to back away. Z-Power again in this top composition. He's played here a couple of times, but he wants to see if he can move back safely. Complexity taking their time as well. Just going for some long control. So no opening kills here with 1 minute left in the round. And this is more of what I wanted to see from ForZe on their T side. Complexity just taking some map control across the board, and then they can set up a late round play.
Poison. Scoped in towards Monster. That smoke begins to fade away. Follow-up Molotov coming in instead. As Complexity have the utility rush. The supportive element of the team throwing the nades on in is perfect. Every single nade has been on point here for Complexity. And this might just be it. Obo walking forward. Another kill being picked up for the youngster. And now it's Flit and Power left alone. And now just the AWP. It's going to be Complexity taking away Overpass. ForZe decided to pick it. Traditionally, they have always looked kind of rough on this map, and it was a question mark for me coming into this. Definitely one that I've never been too confident in for ForZe. And moving on to Mirage, we know it's a map they can play, but Complexity are a different beast on the map itself. It's 16-11. Complexity will walk away with map number 1.
Yeah, good work from Complexity. I think they showed us enough there to say that their Overpass is at least a map that's going to be decent for them. It's going to be a map that they're able to play now. It's not going to be that permaban. So that's exciting times for Complexity. Glad to see them get a good win on the board. And let's see if they can keep it up on the next one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Complexity going into the next one to see if they can show us more of the same on Mirage. It's time, though, for ForZe to bounce back. We'll be back after the short break with the thoughts of the desk.